What's up guys, it's Drac and I'm going to be completely real with you. I got a little bit lazy with this. Not the build itself, but the video work. It was very relaxing over the course of 2 evenings, which is kind of what I've always wanted to do for these Patreon blasters. I just sat down, I turned on the Ocean Lab album, and I cranked out really good work. I did not focus on camera angles or tilting or time-lapsing or making sure that I got all of the details because I figured that I could just explain them easily now. So, this is of course a Recon Mark II. This is a Recon Mark II that's been sitting in the armory for a while, and I wanted to do something cool with it. And the opportunity arose when I threw the minigun parts in the armory with it, and I noticed that the space gray on the minigun parts matched identically to the space gray on the Recon's handle. Now the Recon was originally white, of course, and the minigun kit originally had some khaki kind of finishing on here, but the black that I chose for the enamel seems to blend pretty well here in with the black from the stock, as well as the black hardware on things like these shotgun priming bars and all of the screws and such. So very happy with this blaster in terms of its aesthetics and how it turned out in that regard. Internally, it's rocking a Nerf and Turf upgrade spring as well as an upgrade catch. I think the catch ironically came from JetX just because I had an extra one lying around. Then we reinforced the catch, lubed everything up, and it is good to go. So this is now a full primary class Springer. We went ahead and added an orange tip so it would be compliant with whichever patron wound up winning this blaster, and really just put in like this kit, adapted this ever so slightly so that it would fit into this slot for this. Of course, this kit was originally intended for a regular Retaliator, and now it is in the Recon Mark II. But an ultra sweet Springer primary. I love that you can maintain a lot of the orange since the Nerf logo is on the handle here, and I did pry these off rather roughly and then set them back in. There's really no easy way to remove these pieces without destroying some of these ports that they solvent weld them in with, but it kinda, I'm not like 100% thrilled with that, but I don't mind the aesthetic because it looks sort of worn, sort of cool that way. Rails are still fully functional. You've got Picatinny here and the Nerf rail over here. It's very difficult to fit anything on here now though, since this is of course going to impact with the top bar. However, looks pretty sweet. So that is kind of just an example of how this kit fits onto the Recon Mark II. I wish that this was flush, but that would require adding a full top rail up here. Could glue one on, but then you would have no jam doors. So let's go ahead and prime the blaster. This stock, despite being very lightweight, wound up being really sturdy. Like, it can handle a lot of abuse. I was pretty thrilled with that. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw this magazine in. Hopefully this magazine will fit. Darn, it does not. Time to go find a different magazine. The double dealer magazines are not compatible with the Recon Mark II. Awesome. So 6-clip installed, and all that Nerf and Turf power leads to a Springer that delivers the hits. Kind of sad that we hit low on the target and not high on the target. That's a little disappointing. We'll have to, I guess this one is aiming a bit low, but we'll come on over here. I set up another mini target so that we could fire at that as well. Well, I mean, at least it's consistent, if nothing else. This brick, had it been a cup, would be thoroughly dead. But thank you guys very much for watching. I'm calling this one, I guess, the Recon Mark II Carbine or something like that. Something good for the title, I'm sure, to really catch the gun aficionados' attention. But this was a fun build, definitely. It was relaxing, it was great, and it was an awesome way to show my thanks to my supporters on Patreon. So this was the February Patreon blaster, and it did not end up getting shipped out immediately because the winner is also part of the SE&C. There are about a dozen members of the SE&C have chosen to support me on Patreon. So I do want to give just a huge thank you to everyone who shows their support on Patreon. It is big, big game. It is an absolutely huge deal for me. It gives me a safety net and a blanket of comfort that allows me to take on alternative projects and has really opened the door for me to start tinkering with new editing software. So I'm working with that, and I've got some exciting projects in the work. March's blaster is going to be really, really good, but it's actually not going to be a completely new build. I am so very, very busy during March that I've decided to give away something incredibly special from my armory that I worked on a little while ago. And so it is a fully fledged flywheel blaster that I will be sharing with my patrons and letting them know what it is, but it will probably not get a dedicated video on here. So the February blasters, of course, this Springer, then March is another flywheel blaster, and then April I'm going to come up with something really cool and custom, and I haven't quite decided what it's going to be yet, but I am sure that it will be very special, as I have not gotten my hydro tank out in a while, and the weather is starting to get gorgeous again. So thank you guys very much for watching. Huge thank you to my supporters on Patreon. They do make these monthly blaster giveaways possible. Of course, they are for those people as well, but if you have any interest in that, my Patreon has always been in the description box below. And as for everybody else, thank you just so very much for supporting my content and watching it and subscribing and smashing that like button and all sorts of good YouTube nonsense. Much love. Nerf on. Drac out.